Well, hello there, everybody. It's time for Shakespeare Sunday. We haven't got many of them left, but here's my face. Boom! There it is. It's Shakespeare Sunday, and it's time for a little bit of the old Henry V, Henry V. Gotta love this. I think, is there not like, there's Henry VI, isn't there? Like 3 parts. Or is that Henry VIII part? I can't remember. Anyway, how brilliant. How brilliant it is to be here on this lovely Sunday. I'm sitting here with a possible broken toe. Right, what I want you to do in the comments, I want you, if you don't already know, to see if you can guess how I may well have broken my toe. It's purple and yellow at the moment and very, very swollen. So let's see if you can have a good guess. Okay, that's your mission. And while you're coming up with ideas as to exactly, oh, no, don't want that, exactly how I might have done my toe in, I will just get the video up on here so I can see any comments on Facebook as well. Sometimes forget about Facebook, and that's just unforgivable, really, isn't it? Unforgivable. How able am I to forgive it? It's a true story. So, Henry V. Now, again, this isn't something I know much about. I know a little of the history, and I know these bits. Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, and close the wall up with our English dead. And the main reason I know that is because it's from a radio program from the 60s that I spent most of my life listening to. Not one program, like it ran for 4 series. So, where are we? Let's see if you've guessed how I've done my toe in over here. Oh, look. Megan's wishing lots of people a merry unbirthday. Jessica said, a very happy unbirthday to me, to you too. I see, I got where you were going with that straight away. Lots of happy birthdays all the way all over the place. Ouch, how? No, we're not saying that. Happy birthday. Hello, Duncan, says Jessica. Hello, everyone. Happy birthday to Mel Brooks, Duncan's brother-in-law's girlfriend, and a big thank you again for your lovely serenade to Megan. Well, I tell you what's weird about that serenade. I loved learning it, actually, because I had heard the song before. I'd never sung it before. Some kids got me to play it once. And it's got that bit, so I'll go. Right, and that go bit there, for some reason, when I was recording it, I couldn't hit that with the falsetto. It's funny. But no, it was fun. I like doing different songs that I otherwise might not do. So thank you for that. On the corner of a table, Megan, this is me we're talking about. Okay, do you remember when I bruised the side of my face because a massive cupboard thing fell on it? I don't. Did you trip over a cuddly penguin? It's nothing to do with that, but at least thematically, you're getting in the right area there. Tamsin, did you drop something on your toe? Jessica, you have hit it correctly. I dropped something on my toe. Now, Jessica, let's see if we can go the next stage and work out what I dropped on my toe. Because if we can work that out, honestly, if you can guess, if the next 10 things that come out, if in one of them it says what I actually dropped on my toe, I don't know what I'll do. But I will. It will deserve so much credit. Let's just get in the right place. Right. Did you break your toe pulling a supermarket trolley whilst wearing flip-flops? I have broken 2 toes that way. No. But one time I was riding on a supermarket trolley and I accidentally tilted sideways and fell over and spilt my shopping everywhere. Lesson there. A brick. I did not drop a brick on my toe. That's guess number 1. It was not that. By the way, it's possible there's people watching that have not been at a single Shakespeare Sunday yet. So while we're guessing, a box set of Shakespeare Sunday books, no. A microphone, no. Both good guesses. Very good guesses. A piano, no. A piano, no. So basically, if this is your first Shakespeare Sunday, we've been working through this box of books written by the brilliant Andrew Matthews, pictures by Tony Ross. And we've been going through them in this order, actually. We've gone Macbeth, The Tempest, Twelfth Night, Midsummer Night's Dream, Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, Taming of the Shrew, Taming of the Boo, more like. Julius Caesar, Antony and Cleopatra, little 2-parter that one. As You Like It, Merchant of Venice. I enjoyed that one, I think. Much Ado About Nothing. Othello was very good. Richard III last week, really liked that one as well. We've got Henry V, and we have got one more week left. Next week it will be King Lear. It was not a lamp, and it was not an iron. Esme says, oh, I know, a house. A house. Do you think I'm a wicked witch? A hardback book? No. These are all excellent guesses. I'm enjoying this. How would I have dropped a house on my foot? Unless it was like a Wendy house, a frying pan. No, these are excellent guesses. It is, I'd say, I mean, it's not, but I'm trying to think of the kind of thing that it's like here. Like, it's the kind of thing you wouldn't expect to drop on your toe and break it. It might not be broken, but since it makes no difference whether it's broken or not, treatment-wise, I might as well just say it's broken because it gets me more sympathy. A laptop, no. Wasn't a frying pan, wasn't a hardback book. Or a house or an iron. Okay, shall I tell you? In fact, shall I show you? Shall I show you what it was? Wait here. I'll leave this right here. Yeah. Oh, I won't, because will it balance? No. Right, here we go. I dropped. Oh, where is it? Where is it? I dropped. Here we go. A bag of frozen peas. You are very close. A ton of feathers. No, I dropped this. This bottle of apple juice. And it, and it landed. It fell from quite high because I put it up while I opened the fridge. And then it slipped down, turned over in the air and landed end first right on the... well, I suppose it would be my ring finger, but a toe on my left foot. And it's gone very purple. And yeah, I've been in a lot of pain. So there we go. This very bottle of apple juice. But since I've got this bottle of apple juice, I might as well drink some. Which is quite convenient. So let's get your accent suggestions in. Now, my wife, she's just in the kitchen. That's just there. My wife says Icelandic. So there we go. We've already had... Yeah. Tamsin. That is brilliant. The apple juice never falls far from the knee. So we've had the first... Tape it to the next one. Do you know what? It's fine. I can move it and it's fine. Has it been drunk, the bottle? Well, some of it has now, but it was full when... It's really nice. It was full when I dropped it. Straight from the supermarket. Oh, that's really nice. The last bottle I got wasn't that great. So we've had a request of Icelandic because presumably my wife has said that because we watched the Eurovision film on Netflix, and I really enjoyed it actually, especially since I love Eurovision. So I just stubbed my toe on the chair. So Icelandic is the first suggestion. So the first one we'll do is that. It's my wife just shouting from the room next door. I will try and do an Icelandic, but I can do Piers Brosnan's Icelandic accent from it, which basically doesn't sound even slightly Icelandic or even Scandinavian. He just sounds drunk. So our dramatis personae. Cast list. King Henry V. Well, I thought he might come up. Now, if he's going to be King Henry V, he can be all like, "Hey, hello, I'm King Henry V. And here we go, that's him. Duke of Exeter, uncle to the king. He's got a funny nose. I don't know if that's going to come up. They've all got pointy noses. But this one, let's see if you can see it there. He's got kind of a thing sticking out of his nose. So I don't know if it's a scar, but maybe that will come up in the book. The Duke of Exeter. Uncle to the king. So here's going to be Icelandic. I don't know how that's going to go. We've got the Earl of Cambridge, a conspirator against the king. He is from Somerset, as Jessica has just requested. Helen, by the way, has said, put a bag of frozen peas on your toes and elevate your foot. You'll be better in no time. Well, I did this on Thursday, actually. So it's getting quite a bit better now. But I do keep it regularly elevated. And we actually put some frozen fruit on it. True story. Because my wife didn't want to use it anymore. Accent. Like you don't have any teeth. An old person. Okay. Well, maybe that can be Michael Williams. He is a soldier. He's a soldier in the King's Army. So those are our accents. We've got the Duke of Exeter. He's the uncle to the king. He's Icelandic. We got the Earl of Cambridge. He's right there. Earl of Exeter. Yeah, okay, let's switch them around. Earl of Exeter, he's got the Somerset accent. And then the Earl of Cambridge, he has got the Icelandic accent. There we go. And Michael Williams, he's got no tooth, and that's how he speaks like that. And the French ambassador and the French messenger frankly, let's be honest, they've got to be French, haven't they? I mean, I don't want to be French because we know how it goes when I do a French accent, but we'll see. I do such better accents when we're going. And then anyone else, you throw in a few extra accents if you want. We'll chuck in an Australian. Reader's request. We'll chuck in an Australian for if somebody else comes up with an accent, they're going to be Australian because I like Australian accent. So here we go. Henry V. Hardly anyone called the new king Henry. When they talked about him, they said Hal or Harry. Megan, I don't know what you've just put. Oh, King Henry the Fifth. Anyway, thank you. Right, so when they talked about him, they said Hal or Harry, or used one of his other nicknames. Everyone knew what a wild and rebellious teenager the young prince had been. Harry spent more time with rascally old Sir John Falstaff learning how to drink and gamble than he had with his royal father. Now the reckless young Harry was king. But no one knew what sort of king he would be. Some thought he would be a disaster. Others said that only time would tell. But all were aware that the young king faced a difficult time as the new English monarch. England and France had been at war for 25 years, and though the two countries had agreed to a truce, the truce was an uneasy one. A weak English king who didn't have the support of his people might give the French just the chance they wanted to carry out a successful invasion. I'm not having that. One morning, not long after Henry's coronation, the nobles of the High Council were gathered together in the reception chamber of the King's Palace in London. Among them was the Duke of Exeter. The King's uncle. He knew that Henry was now about to face his most challenging test. How young and lonely he looks on that great throne, Exeter thought. He has his mother's dark hair and soft eyes. But does he have any of his father's courage, I wonder? Is Henry IV known for courage? I thought he was rubbish. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. His question was soon answered, for just then the doors of the great chamber opened, and an ambassador from the Dauphin, the Crown Prince of France, entered. He's a tuna-friendly Dauphin. I'm sorry. She's laughing at my own jokes. The ambassador was a perfumed dandy with his curled beard, and the clothes he wore were as brightly coloured as a peacock's feathers. Behind him, two guards carried a large wooden chest, which they set down on the floor. The ambassador gave an elaborate bow. Your Highness, he said, in a voice as smooth as honey, apparently. My master, the Dauphin, sends his greetings. I want more than greetings, Henry replied coldly. I ask King Charles to give me back the French lands that my father won from him. What is his answer? The ambassador ran his fingers through the curls of his beard and smirked. The king is busy with the important matters, he said. His Majesty thought that since the Dauphin is closer to you in age, it would be better for him to deal with your request. Hello, Alex. Alex has joined us, The Real Power of Music. Sorry, Alex, by the way, just a quick break. Alex, I keep missing you on a Friday because I don't finish until just shortly before you go on with all my lessons all day on a Friday. And then I basically tidy up all of my stuff and then remember that I've missed your thing. And it's unforgivable, but I'm sorry. I always catch you on a Thursday and I nearly always miss you on a Friday. But this week I'll try my best to remember. But hello, Alex. And everyone is well, I think, apart from my broken toe. Now, His Majesty thought that since the Dauphin is closer to you in age, it would be better for him to deal with your request. Henry felt a sting of anger at the ambassador's insolent tone, but he kept his voice calm. And what is the Dauphin's message? He asked. The Dauphin thinks that you are a little too young to bother yourself with affairs of state, said the ambassador, gesturing towards the wooden chest. So he has sent a present which he thinks will be more suitable than the right to French dukedoms. The ambassador clicked his fingers, and the guards opened the lid of the chest. It was filled with tennis balls. One of them fell out and rolled onto the foot of Henry's throne. Yes, I broke. As we've established, I broke. If it's broken, I've at least severely bruised, but possibly broken my toe on this very bottle of apple juice. We had that story at the beginning. I shan't bore you all with it again, but it's true. And my toe is ever so purple. And also, hello, Lauren, and hello to Maddie and Noah. I hope you guys are well. The nobles glanced at each other anxiously. King Henry had been insulted and humiliated in front of all his courtiers. How would he respond? Henry leaned over and picked up the ball at his feet, bounced it once, and caught it in his right hand. Tell the Dauphin that he has begun a game with me that he will wish he never started, he said. His mockery will turn these tennis balls into cannon balls. The people of France may be laughing at the Dauphin's joke, but they'll weep before I'm finished. Ooh, he means business, doesn't he? The ambassador's face went deathly pale, and he went, oh? It doesn't say that. I added that. When the door closed behind him, the nobles began to talk amongst themselves. Most of them glanced admiringly at Henry, but the Earl of Cambridge scowled at the king. Hold on, let me just check. Earl of Cambridge, he was Icelandic. Scowled at the king. He raised his voice above the chamber and said, how did it go? It went like this. He went, Your Majesty spoke hastily. I can hear you laughing, Mrs. Morris. Your Majesty spoke hastily. You should have sought the advice of older and wiser men before plunging our country into war. Don't stop laughing at me. They're not laughing here. They're taking my accents very seriously. So I'll just stop there. Well, I'll carry on in a minute. An insult to me is an insult to the English people, Henry snapped. And besides, my Lord Cambridge, with your interesting voice, I don't listen to the advice of traitors. Cambridge started as though somebody had jabbed him with a knife point, and his eyes bulged with fear. Is his eyes bulging with fear? See? You thought that because of my youth I could be easily deceived, Harry went on. But I found you out. You betrayed your country for French gold and worked as a spy for King Charles. Guards, take him to the Tower. The nobles stared in astonishment at the disclosure of Cambridge's treachery and at seeing the determination of their young king. He was wiser and stronger than any of them had realised. Now, hold on. I've got to go back because first off, Meghan has reminded people that it's her birthday, and quite right too. You can keep saying that it's her birthday over in the comments. That's fine. We have outlined it was apple juice. The fact that I dropped a bottle on my thing, and then Tamsin brilliantly has written Dauphin, du vin, du Boursin, which was my favourite advert, and it got me actually liking Boursin. It's really nice. But then one time I got Boursin, put it on my crackers, and it was the pepper one. And I'm sure I'd love that now, but I wasn't expecting it. And when you're expecting garlic and you get pepper, it's very different. Esme, you're saying that the Limagers are laughing? What, at my Icelandic accent? It was very good. It's the best Icelandic accent you have heard. So I will thank you not to laugh at my accent. Thank you very much. There we go. Now, men from all over the country... have I missed a page? Let me just check. No. Men from all over the country answered the young king's call to war with France. Blacksmiths, there's a picture of a blacksmith. Farm workers, wheelwrights, weavers, and clerks. They all left their homes and marched along the roads that led to Southampton. The younger men thought that war would be a kind of holiday and were eager for fame and glory. Others who had fought before knew what battle was like. And they were grim-faced and silent. At Southampton, the men began their training. Hour after hour, day after day, they marched and drilled. At the archery butts, men with longbows practiced until their aim was true. Slowly, the raggle-taggle band of volunteers was transformed into an army. When all was ready, the English battle fleet set sail for the French port of Harfleur. Harfleur. Sorry about the toe, says Alex. That's okay. Oh, core, bet that hurt. It really did. It was one of those ones that hurt so much that I couldn't really make any noise. Mrs. Morris heard the thud. It probably went bang like that. And then I went like that. And that was about all the noise I made. And I was just going when she walked in. She was like, what have you done? And Jessica says, totally painful. It's a funny lot, you guys. You are funny. One day we've got to just get together and go to watch some comedy or something. It took all day for Henry's men to cross the channel and unload the ships. The men spent the night on the beach and were woken up in the grey hours before dawn to sharpen their weapons and make ready their siege ladders and battering rams. On the skyline, the walls of Harfleur looked like an ominous cloud. When the sun rose, Henry rode out in front of his men on his dapple grey war horse, the early morning light glinting on his armour. The English are a peaceful nation, he said, obviously never having attended a football match. He told the troops. But when war comes, we can fight like tigers. Lions would be better because of the leopards they are, but you know. Let the light of battle blaze in your eyes to burn the courage of your enemies. Let your cry be, God, for Harry, England, and St. George. I don't know what St. George is doing. Cannons roared like a gigantic wave breaking on the shore as the English army charged. By nightfall, Harfleur had fallen. That's not bad, is it? Just smashed it a bit. Well done. I hope everyone, I hope they just tickled people and they went, you don't really want to hear too much gruesome behaviour in war. It's nasty business. Right. Henry was planning to advance to the port of Calais, which was already in English possession. The next morning, a messenger arrived from King Charles. Here we go, we get more French. The king commands that you surrender to him and leave France while you still can. He's got a different French voice. I don't know if you noticed that. The messenger declared scornfully, he is camped at Agincourt with an army of 50,000. If you do not agree to his terms, he will advance and he will crush you. Yes, he will. Your Majesty, the Duke of Exeter murmured, we have only 4,000 men. If the French attack us here, we will be lost. Then we must go to them, uncle, Henry said calmly. He turned to the messenger. Tell King Charles that his army is in my way. That's good, that's fighting talk. He said, I will march to Agincourt, and if he does not step aside, the earth will be red with French blood. Which is about 80% wine, so. And so the English advanced to Agincourt and set up camp facing the French on a plain between two woods. Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time. That is the accent that I'm channeling right now. I hope you appreciate it. That's exactly what I had in my head when I started speaking. When the French saw the size of the English army, they whistled and jeered, beating their swords against their shields to make a great clamour. And your father smelled of elderberries. I told them we already got one. Un cadeau, a present. Fetchy les vaches. But Henry shut his ears to their taunts and concentrated on positioning his forces. He discussed battle plans with his commanders late into the night, and after they had left his tent, Henry tried to rest. But a whirlpool of doubts and fears swirled in his mind, and he could not sleep. Hoping to calm himself, he put on a hooded cloak and went walking through the camp. Men lay asleep, huddled round fires. The air was filled with the sounds of snores or voices shouting out in terror through nightmares. Across the plain glimmered the fires of the French camp, as numberless as the stars on a winter's night. Henry was so deep in thought that he didn't notice a sentry on guard beside one campfire until he almost walked on to the point of the man's spear. Hold on. Let me just check. Is he Michael Williams? Who goes there? I'm going to pretend he is. Here we go. He's got no truth. I'm going to pretend it's him and hope it is. Who goes there? Barked the sentry. A friend, Henry replied. Who is your commander? The Duke of Exeter. The guard lowered his spear and pulled a face. A fine soldier, he grunted. If he were leading the army instead of the king, we wouldn't be in this mess. I bet young Harry wishes he was back in London, tucked up safe in bed. The king wishes himself nowhere but here, said Henry. The guard turned his head to spit into the fire. Light from the flames played across his broken nose and the long scar on his left cheek. Kings, he growled. They do the arguing, but it's the likes of you and me who do the fighting and the dying. Tomorrow the king will fight in the front line alongside his men. You will see, said Henry. I'll wager the week's wages that he'll be at the back with the fast horse ready for his escape. Very well, said Henry. And if we both survive, find me when the battle's over and we'll see who was right. What's your name? My name is Michael Williams, said the guard. What's yours? Harry Leroy. It's funny that Leroy means the king. Henry said with a smile, and then he passed on and disappeared into the darkness. In the early hours of the morning, a thunderstorm broke. Rain fell mercilessly, drenching English and French alike, turning the plain into a sea of mud. The rain stopped just before dawn, but the sky was still filled with heavy black clouds. The first line of the French army took the field, led by knights on horseback. The plumes on their helmets fluttered brightly against the dark sky, and their army shone like silver. Behind them ran infantrymen in chainmail coats, carrying blue shields painted with golden fleur-de-lis. Henry ordered his archers to stand ready and wait for his signal. By the way, my wife is cooking pork, and it smells incredible. The French knights broke into a gallop. The hooves of the horses shook the ground and spattered their riders with mud. The going was flappy to amorous. Sorry, that's from a radio program I used to listen to. The going was good to flimsy. The knights lowered their lances and screamed out a battle cry even. But halfway to the English line, the French horses ran into boggy ground and the charge faltered. The knights pulled at their reins in panic, turning their horses to try and find a firmer footing. The infantrymen caught up, and all was a surging chaos of whinnying horses and cursing men. Henry drew his sword and swept it high above his head. Fire! He bellowed. At his command, 1,000 arrows left 1,000 longbows and made a sound like the wind sighing through the boughs of a forest. A deadly hail struck the French, piercing armour and flesh and bone. Knights fell from their saddles and startled horses bolted, trampling anyone who stood in their way. Volley after volley of arrows whistled down until the only movement on the battlefield came from the wounded as they attempted to crawl back to safety. A second line of French troops charged. Once more the English archers stopped them. The French tried to retreat, but ran into their own third line as it came up behind them. It was then that Henry led his men in a charge. The two armies met with a clash like a clap of thunder. The fighting lasted for 2 hours. They might have been hungry, who knows. Lasted for 2 hours. The French soldiers, dismayed and confused, found that their commanders had been killed and there was no one to give them orders. They fought bravely, but the fury of the English attack proved too much for them, and at last they broke ranks and fled. Several thousand Frenchmen died at Agincourt, including many great noblemen. The English only lost 100 men. That night, at sunset, a French messenger rode into the English camp carrying a white flag of truce. "Here is a flag of truce," he said. It doesn't say that there. I was adding that in. I was embellishing. It was the same man who had come to Harfleur, but this time he was not haughty. His armour was dented and there was dirt and blood in his face. "King Charles, he begs for peace," he said humbly. "He will return all the lands such a claim, and he asks that you accept the hand of his daughter, Princess Catherine, so that your two families may be united in peace forever." She doesn't get a say in it, apparently. "Tell the king that I accept," he said. "We will meet and draw up a peace treaty." That night, there were celebrations in the English camp, and just before midnight, Henry slipped away from his commanders and went in search of Michael Williams. He found him at the same guard point as on the previous night. When Williams saw Henry, he dropped to one knee. "Your Majesty," he mumbled, "I did not know who you were last night, but I recognised you today when you led the charge." "So," said Henry, smiling, "I won the wager." "I was a fool to speak the way I did last night," said the sentry apologetically. Henry put his hand on the man's shoulder and took a bag of gold coins from his belt. He handed it to the astonished guard. "Here," said Henry, "you spoke your mind last night. I hope that honest men will always speak to me as openly as you did." So King Henry V won a famous victory, and more importantly, he won the hearts of all his subjects. Now they respected him as a ruler, but they also loved him because he understood the lives of ordinary people. He was one of us, and was always ready to listen to them. And he won more than his subjects' hearts, for when he met Catherine, the French princess, they fell in love at once. Even though he could not speak English and she could not speak English, and his clumsy French made her laugh. With their marriage, the bitter war with France was ended in feasting and friendship. Now, he said that they were French for they were 30 years into the thing. It's like, look, hold on, let's see what it says. Tum-ty-tum-ty-tum. England war had been a war for 25 years. Now, Agincourt, am I wrong? This is part of the 100 Years' War. So finishing this by saying the bitter war was ended is probably about 75 years premature. But, what was Shakespeare to know writing after the thing? Now, I need to know what was said here. They respect him as a ruler. And Jessica has said, did they respect him as a set square too? Yes, and a pair of compasses. And there was much rejoicing. So what it doesn't say is, it suggests that it ends happily ever after, but Henry V died of dysentery. So, it's not good dying on the lav. There we go. That's what happened to Henry V. I only know that because my wife and I play a game. Look, I'll show you. We've got this box of cards, right? It's called History Heroes, and it goes through all of the kings and queens and just tells you a little bit about all of them. And so let's see what it says on Henry V, shall we? Let's see if I can find it. Henry V. That's Henry IV. And then I'll look at your comments in a minute. Sorry, folks. I just feel like we need to find out what it says on here. Because the main thing I remember is that it said about dying of dysentery. So he's wounded by an arrow in the face at age 16 at the Battle of Shrewsbury. Just watch out. I remember, because what we do is we play a game and we read these. And I thought, when it said wounded by an arrow, I thought it was going to be King Harold. The second, people forget about. Oh, is he the second? I think he was. Arrow in the eye. I thought it was going to be that. But no, the Battle of Shrewsbury. He survived the Southampton plot. That's what we've just done. We've just found out about Southampton. There we go. So now I know. Look, because his name was... Oh, no, it wasn't. He was the Earl of Cambridge. What's the Southampton plot? The conspiracy to murder him as he boarded his ship. That's not nice, is it? The eldest son of Henry IV, brought up by his uncle, Henry Beaufort. Is that? Let's just check. Do you reckon his uncle... Do you reckon... Yeah, Duke of Exeter, Henry Beaufort. That's my guess. Married Catherine of France, producing Henry VI. Won the Battle of Agincourt in 1415 versus the French against all odds, and that's all I gotta take. Take a look at me now. Died suddenly in 1422 at Meaux, France, aged 36 from dysentery. There we go. He ruled for 9 years, not very long. So there we go, 1413 to 1422. This is how I learn the basics of history. So look, we can find out anything about these. Now, I've missed out on loads of your comments. So I'm going to give a good scroll up and see what I've missed. We've done that. Lots of laughing here, unforgivably. Poor French. What do you mean, poor French? My French accent was so good. It's the best that you have ever heard. By the way, I think this week was the best week for accents, so I'm not going to have it. I was speaking so French. We had him speaking like this, and we had the man from the Iceland. He was good. Great book to hear while I'm eating my tea. Pizza topped chicken. So my guess is, I'm not going to read any further. My guess is you got chicken and tomato sauce. I had chicken and tomato sauce last night. Probably some oregano and then maybe mozzarella over the top and all grilled so the mozzarella's gone bubbly. That's my guess. Let's see what it says. Dinner in the oven also smells amazing. Pizza top chicken. Butterfly chicken breast topped with passata, herbs, cheese, bacon, peppers and oven cooked. I was largely right. Sounds amazing. I like how we're talking about butterfly chicken breast, passata, herbs, and chicken breast, and I'm talking about Henry V. Yes, true story. It's what happened. We like to mix it up on a Sunday. Great story with excellent accents. Thank you, Tamsin. Thank you, especially the Icelandic one. She meant that the French suffered, not that my accent was poor. Well, yeah, but, if you will try and steal our lands that we own in their country. There we go. Well, I've enjoyed that one very much. I did enjoy that. I mean, it didn't really have much of a moral, was it? Really, the moral of that one is don't fight Henry V. That's the depth of the moral of that one. It is watch out because the English are going to come and their archers are going to do you some damage. Now, hold on. I've got to put this back in. I'm a bit picky about putting cards in boxes. I need them to go in specific ways. So that's that. And we know what's coming up next week. And very sadly, it's going to be the final Shakespeare Sunday. The last ever Shakespeare Sunday. And I'm going to have to make a playlist of all of the other Shakespeare Sundays. We know what it's going to be. We've been saving our favourite for last. Let me just pop this back in. Almost ceremoniously as we get out the final book in our Shakespeare Stories series. King Lear. This was always my favourite of the. Let's be honest, we've established that I don't know vast numbers of Shakespeare plays, but of the ones that I know, this is by far my favourite. It says a lot about the human condition. This one, really looking forward to it. I don't know how this book's going to be. I won't find out until we all find out together next week. So I'm really excited about that. Megan says, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious accents. Duncan, you made me smile. Lots of love. Well, I'm glad I could make you smile on your birthday, Megan. Oh, that sounds brilliant. Esme has gone quiet. She's fallen asleep on me. I always like to keep my audience riveted. And what are we going to do after King Lear? Let me tell you. Well, for a start, I'm stopping doing things on Sundays. I'm going to move to a Tuesday or a Monday. I haven't decided. I might do Monday to try and condense everything. Monday, I put my teeth back in. Monday at... By the way, if people are watching and don't know the comments, they don't know why I just went, put my teeth back in. Thank you. I think I'll probably do it on a Monday, but 4:30 on either a Monday or a Tuesday, I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing, but with Charles Dickens stories. I have bought a book. It hasn't arrived yet, actually. But we've got a short while to wait before that comes up. And I've got a book. It's got 11 Dickens stories in it, which might be all of them. It says it's the complete. I've never read a Dickens book in my life. I know some stories, but I've never read any Dickens ever. So I'm really looking forward to finding out a little bit about those. They are entirely fictional, so we don't end up learning anything about history. I think they're all fictional, aren't they? He didn't write any sort of historical things. So yes, What the Dickens is what it's going to be called, Tamsin. Tamsin's just said What the Dickens, and that's what we're calling it. It's being called What the Dickens. Love it. It's just going to What the Dickens. Oliver Twist next. No, what do you mean? We've got King Lear next. What I'm going to do with that, though, I might just read it in order because it's just in one book. It's not like this where I get all the books. It's just in one book, but I'll do a different story each time. They're all about the same length. I checked it. So yeah, we're going to be doing What the Dickens once we finish this, and it's going to be brilliant. But what I'll probably do is give myself a Sunday off. So we'll do next Sunday. I won't do anything the following Sunday, and then we'll start the Monday or Tuesday after that. You guys tell me, what would you prefer, Monday or Tuesday? But you don't have to tell me that this week. Tell me next week. And no, tell me this week so I can plan. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another Shakespeare Sunday. I've had a blast. Did you notice the internet didn't cut out at all? Oh, how exciting is that? Very nice to know that we're just going to carry on streaming. Makes me a happy Duncan. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Happy birthday to Megan. Have a brilliant rest of your day. My toe actually feels fine, thank you, Tamsin, but it only hurts if I go on, say, a 45-minute walk, which I did right before doing this live stream. Take care, one and all. I'm going to put you on the final screen. Do feel free to join me tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or both, and I will see you later. Here's our list of what's coming up. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook. Bye, Facebook people. And now I'm going to say goodbye to you on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.